Hey guys, SunJump247 here.
And I'm Matt.
And I'm Crimson Lord. I am sorry, but I forgot my mask. Although, to contain my secrecy, I had to keep all but my mouth covered.
That's better. And today, I guess I should. And today was going to be doing another special review with me for the Anime Club review. And this time we're reviewing Pokemon, the movie Rise of Darkrai. Alright. So, initial thoughts?
I've actually never seen this one all the way through. This was my first time seeing it all the way through, and gotta say, I really enjoyed it.
Crimson?
Well, as a big supporter of Darkrai, I have to say this is probably one of my favorites of the Pokemon movies. Although they aren't exactly part of the storyline, I like how they are used to introduce the legendaries that usually appear later in the TV series.
And yeah, I thought it was a very good movie. It's one of my this definitely has to be one of my favorite of the Pokemon movies. And all right, I guess going on to. Does anybody else have any initial thoughts? Any more?
No.
All right, I guess moving on to the characters.
Well, you've got your typical Ash, Pikachu, Brock, your Dawn, and then your movie extra characters, Alicia,
Alice.
Alice. Alicia was her grandmother, sorry.
We should probably get some description for those who are first timers to the Pokemon series.
Come on, who hasn't heard of Pokemon yet here?
Probably people with low budgets who can't afford game systems. Plus, to be honest, Pokemon's not on Cartoon Network these days anymore.
That's
right.
true. Yeah, the movie specific characters are the main characters are Alice and Tonio.
And who's the other guy?
Baron?
That was... Oh yeah, the Baron.
The guy who with a suit that almost makes him look like he's cosplaying the human version of Licky Licky.
That's a plot thing, so we'll get into that later.
Yeah, haven't you noticed that some of the characters that usually have bigger parts in the movie kind of look almost like the Pokemon they usually sport? Like with the Torterra, Infernape, and Empoleon?
Oh
Yep.
yeah. Did those three even have names?
I don't think so.
Oh, I think they do, but I don't hear them much.
So, okay, and then moving on to the story.
So the story of this movie starts with Ash, Dawn, and Brock going to this town called, was it Alamar? Alamos Town.
Which is the site of a Pokemon contest Dawn is planning to participate in.
Which, hate to ruin it, but you don't actually get to see her compete in this movie. I'm sorry.
And for those who are first timers, as I mentioned before, a Pokemon contest is like a side thing in the game series where you take your Pokemon, dress them up, and have them use Pokemon moves to show their appeal. The better the appeal, the Pokemon with the most appeal usually wins, and you get a ribbon as a prize. If you want more about this, go watch the Hoenn arc where Pokemon contests are first introduced.
And then into Diamond and Pearl where they're continued. Anyway, more movie specifics.
So basically, Alamos Town is founded as a sort of a place that's mechanical marvel with the big towers representing time and space, and everything inside the building is clockwork. Basically, it's like a huge clock tower. Even Big Ben would pale in comparison.
And I think the space-time towers were based on something, I can't remember, but they are based on an actual structure somewhere in Europe. I'll put an annotation like right here. All right. And
and another thing to mention, the space-time towers are, at least the Pokemon world's, like, biggest music box.
the world's largest instrument.
Or, yeah.
Plays musical discs and rhythms of bell sounds.
Yeah, one actually. Okay, any more about the story?
Well, I think before we move on to the positives, I think we should at least take into consideration to talk about the Pokemon that's the main focus in this thing, Darkrai.
So, Darkrai was friends with Alice's grandmother, Alicia, because she saved him from some previous attack. It's never said what attacked him.
It may have been the Pokemon.
Before, it's assumed that it was again Palkia and Dialga, but they never actually say that.
Actually, I think it was the Pokemon in the garden when Darkrai first showed up to Alamos Town that were trying to defend it from him. And who could blame him? Darkrai's, as far as I know from Pokemon history, the first ever legendary Dark-type Pokemon. He's also known as the Pitch Black Pokemon, who's capable of sending Pokemon into nightmares.
Oh, and people too.
Yeah. But sometimes Darkrai uses nightmares to convey messages trying to warn people of impending crises that he can only see. Which is
exactly what he does with Ash in this movie.
But people who don't know this usually just see them as regular nightmares and don't find out what they're really about till further in.
Yep.
Which was, actually, that's a pretty good summary of the plot of this movie.
But all in all, Darkrai is a very powerful Pokemon. But it says in the movie that Dialga and Palkia, who also show up, are considered legendary Pokemon or deities, so I guess that would make Darkrai, what, a demigod or something?
I guess that's a good way of saying it.
I guess there's some sort of hierarchy going on with the legendaries.
Oh no, Darkrai is probably one of the most powerful Pokemon of the Sinnoh region. Seeing as how he was able to go toe-to-toe with Dialga and Palkia at the same time.
Well, then you would know. He's your star player on your team in Sun and Moon.
Still puts your team to sleep when he gets the chance. But yeah, all in all, Darkrai is a scary Pokemon given he's a dark type, but in some cases he's probably just misunderstood. So then, moving on to positives if nothing else.
So then, art style.
It's Pokemon.
It's Pokemon Diamond and Pearl.
It's the same animation style that Pokemon Diamond and Pearl uses. That's all I can say about it. Anything to add, Crimson?
Yes.
I don't know. I think that. So we're still talking about. I don't know. Where do you think this movie will be placed if we're connected to the series? Like,
Chris, we're on.
Oh, positives.
Crimson. We're on art style.
Art style. Well, I kind of see a medieval sense to the structures of the building. Although, call me crazy, but the way the buildings look, they kind of remind me of one of the Hoenn Pokemon movies. I think it was Pokemon Heroes, I believe.
Oh yeah, it does look sort of similar to that town. What was the town in that? I don't even remember.
Except there aren't as many waterways, but the building structures look almost similar.
Yeah. All right, and music.
Seems like most of the music is based off of the bell tower or grass whistling.
And then there's also your typical Pokemon songs from the anime.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And for one reason why I like this movie so much, I liked some of the music a lot, and I actually learned Oracion. I learned to play Oracion on the violin.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, anyways, something negative?
Not that I can see. Truth be told, I don't think I'd feel comfortable about bad-mouthing a Pokemon movie where my star Pokemon is in.
All right, and I don't have anything negative to say about this. Final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Great movie. And also for those that are curious, this movie actually is sort of part of
It is
part of a
trilogy.
A trilogy of like
movies,
like the three Diamond and Pearl movies. They all have a interarching story. Their words.
Yeah, no, so I mean, the only time I've seen that firsthand was the movies that were. I mean, the only other time I've seen where the storylines of movies actually connect were the ones where Mewtwo was the star. But yeah, if you want to see movies that are connected to this one, I would say the next one you would want to watch is what's the one with Shaman called again?
Okay, for the trilogy, of course, the first one is Rise of Darkrai. The second one is Giratina and the Sky Warrior.
And then the third one is Arceus and the Jewel of Life.
Yep.
Shaman has, I don't think, anything to do with those three?
No.
Yes.
Well,
He's in Giratina.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He's the Sky Warrior.
That's right, he is.
Yeah, Shaman's just a cute little hedgehog that gets caught in the middle.
And I guess moving on to score.
Who wants to start?
You go, Crimson.
I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5 Darkrai's, obviously.
I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5 Masaldas. Or what are they called?
Okay, it doesn't have anything to do with the movie, but Malasada.
Malasadas.
Okay. And I give it 5 out of 5 Aracians.
Alright, that wraps up this week's interview. We can't give you a preview for what we're going to be watching next week because, well, we're putting it through a poll right now since we don't have so many members today. But I guess that'll be the first ever review where it's going to be a surprise, so you'll just have to wait and see what we review about. Until then, this is the MCTC Anime Club, signing off.